GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Here are our top stories.
Rain forced play to stop at Montreal's IGA Stadium for 2 consecutive days, pushing back the National Bank Open schedule. Organizers cite the weather as a major disruption while eyeing a future retractable roof. Elise Marchand has the full story.
Rain hammered the IGA Stadium for 2 straight days, turning the hard courts into slick, water-logged surfaces and forcing officials to suspend play each afternoon. By nightfall, crews were still pumping out standing water while drenched spectators huddled under umbrellas, waiting for a break in the storm. The interruptions pushed back match start times well into the evening, compressing the tournament schedule and leaving players scrambling to adjust their warm-ups. Tournament organizers confirmed that the delays will ripple through the remainder of the week, reshuffling upcoming draws. Meanwhile, Tennis Canada reiterated its long-term plan to install a retractable roof at the venue, a move aimed at preventing future weather-related setbacks. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Montreal.
Residents swarmed Pierrefonds Town Hall Monday night, chanting for concrete flood mitigation measures and demanding accountability from municipal officials. More than 100 locals, many bearing signs that listed recent water damage incidents, gathered after another bout of heavy rain left streets in the borough waist-deep with water. Protesters cited repeated flooding in districts such as Ahuntsic-Cartierville, St. Laurent and Villeray, saying municipal promises have remained vague and unfulfilled. Pierrefonds council members faced a chorus of questions about a pending drainage study that, according to residents, has stalled for months. Organizers warned that without swift, actionable plans, neighborhoods will continue to suffer property loss and safety risks. The demonstration concluded after municipal leaders pledged to review the study and report back within the next few weeks, though participants left skeptical about any immediate change.
Police are investigating a nighttime break-in at a downtown bakery that left its front windows shattered and a bold anti-technology slogan scrawled across the brick facade. The damage was reported on July 31st, and officers have confirmed that the perpetrators remain unidentified. This is the latest act of vandalism at the family-run shop, which has endured similar attacks in recent months. Detectives say the graffiti appears to target digital devices and automated systems, reflecting a growing undercurrent of resistance to rapid technological adoption. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses is being reviewed, and neighborhood residents are being asked to share any observations that could aid the inquiry. No injuries were reported, but the incident has heightened concerns among local merchants about the safety of storefronts in the area. Police have stepped up patrols on the surrounding streets as a precaution.
Alexis Galarneau fell in the first round of the Montreal National Bank Omnium, losing to Vit Koprova as rain repeatedly halted the race on August 3, 2026. Anton Prevost has the full story.
Alexis Galarneau's hopes fell short on Saturday as the Canadian rider was knocked out in the opening round of the National Bank Omnium. He faced Czech competitor Vit Koprova, who surged ahead and secured the win, sending Galarneau packing after a brief but intense sprint. The race was repeatedly delayed by heavy rain, forcing officials to pause the competition several times before the final result could be recorded. Organizers of the Montreal National Bank Omnium in the city said the weather interruptions added an extra layer of challenge for all riders. The event, part of a national cycling series, continues later this week with the remaining heats. Anton Prevost, GMNA News, Montreal.
Earlier today, a 61-year-old driver lost control of his vehicle on a west side suburban road in Pointe Claire and collided with a large tree. The impact occurred shortly after noon on Lakeshore Road, a main artery that links the island to the western suburbs and sees heavy commuter traffic. Emergency responders arrived within minutes, extracting the man from the wreckage before transporting him to a nearby hospital where he remains in critical condition. Police are reviewing the scene and have not released details about speed, weather, or any possible impairment. The crash occurred on a residential stretch that sees moderate traffic during peak commuting hours, prompting temporary lane closures and detours that affected nearby commuters. No other vehicles or pedestrians were involved and no additional injuries were reported. Authorities have asked anyone with further information about the incident to come forward, while the victim's family has been notified.
Later we'll hear how Quebec police warn drivers as construction holiday winds down, plus more top headlines. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back. Quebec Provincial Police are warning drivers to remain vigilant as the province's annual construction holiday draws to a close. The temporary pause on roadwork, which typically eases congestion during summer, is ending this week, and officials say the shift could catch motorists off guard. Police stress that lingering lane closures, altered speed limits, and detours will persist in many corridors, increasing the risk of collisions during the peak travel period. Drivers are urged to obey signage, allow extra travel time, and avoid sudden lane changes. The alert comes as traffic volumes rise on the island and surrounding highways, where commuters are already experiencing longer commute times. Authorities will maintain a heightened presence on major routes to monitor compliance and respond quickly to incidents, aiming to keep the summer travel season safe.
The Northern Tornadoes Project is investigating whether the severe storm that battered Repentigny on Sunday spawned a tornado, prompting heightened concern over the event's intensity. Simon Fortier has the full story.
The severe storm that ripped through Repentigny on Sunday, August 2, 2026, left a trail of downed trees and ripped roofs, prompting the Northern Tornadoes Project to launch an on-site investigation. Researchers are combing through damage patterns, looking for the telltale vortex signatures that would confirm a tornado touched down. Early assessments note wind speeds that exceeded typical thunderstorm thresholds and a narrow lane of flattened structures that could indicate a brief, intense funnel. The team is deploying mobile radar units and high-resolution cameras to document any lingering evidence before the site is cleared. Findings will be compared against regional tornado databases to determine if this event joins the province's official count. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Repentigny.
During the 2026 construction holiday, the Société de l'Assurance Automobile du Québec reported that 18 people lost their lives on provincial roads. The tally represents the total fatality count for the holiday period, a stretch when many construction zones are closed and traffic patterns shift. Over the past 10 years, the province's overall road death rate has held steady, yet the holiday spike underscores that most of these deaths were deemed preventable by the SAAQ. Officials highlighted that reduced speed limits, heightened driver awareness, and adherence to temporary signage could have averted many of the incidents. The agency is reviewing the data to refine safety protocols for future holiday intervals. Families across Quebec mourn the loss of loved ones, while transportation planners consider adjustments to mitigate similar outcomes in forthcoming construction breaks.
Health officials say the measles outbreak sweeping Quebec is winding down, with only 28 confirmed cases to date. The province's public health agency reported that transmission has slowed dramatically, and most of those infected have recovered without complications. Schools and daycare centers that were temporarily closed earlier this spring have largely resumed normal operations, and vaccination clinics remain open to boost immunity in at-risk neighborhoods. Officials stress that the disease remains contagious and urge anyone who has not been immunized to seek a vaccine as soon as possible. Surveillance teams continue to monitor contacts and conduct contact tracing to prevent any resurgence. The situation is being described as under control, but health authorities will keep the public informed should new cases emerge. Travelers entering Quebec are being advised to verify their immunization status before departure, and schools are reminded to maintain up-to-date vaccination records.
An earthquake measuring magnitude 2.8 struck Quebec City early Thursday evening, registering as a low-intensity tremor in a region accustomed to occasional minor seismic activity. Antoine Prévost has the full story.
At just after 8:30 p.m. on August 2nd, a shallow tremor registered 2.8 on the magnitude scale, shaking the historic core of Quebec City. Residents near the Plains of Abraham reported rattling windows and a brief low-frequency rumble that lasted only a few seconds. No injuries have been reported, and authorities say the quake caused no structural damage. The Canada Centre for Monitoring Seismic Activity confirmed the event, noting it as part of the region's occasional low-magnitude activity. While the quake was felt by pedestrians strolling along Rue Saint-Jean and shoppers near the Grand Allée, emergency services remain on standby for any aftershocks. Antoine Prévost, GMNA News, Old Quebec.
Now let's get a look at tonight's forecast for our meteorology team.
A high-pressure ridge and a swift southwest jet are keeping Montreal dry and comfortably warm tonight. Montreal's August 3rd record high sits at 31.1 degrees, set in 2024 during a lingering heat wave that pushed temperatures well above the 26-degree average. The record low, 12.7 degrees, was recorded in 2022 when an unseasonal cold front slipped south, knocking the temperature well beneath the typical 18-degree night. Normal August highs hover around 26 degrees and lows near 18, so today's 22-degree high feels modest compared with the extremes. On the live radar, the screen is almost featureless, a clean sweep of blue indicating no rain bands in sight. The high-pressure dome aloft suppresses lift, while the fast southwest jet streams the dry air eastward at a steady pace. With no echoes to track, we can expect the clear sky to hold through the night and into tomorrow's early hours before any moisture returns. Turning now to tonight's outlook. At 11 p.m. Montreal sits under a clear sky with a temperature of 19 degrees, humidity 67%, and a gentle west wind at 11 kilometers per hour. A high-pressure ridge is building, pressure rising, and a swift southwest jet at 93 kilometers per hour at 568 hPa height reinforces the dry air. That setup limits cloud growth, allowing tonight's low to dip to 16 degrees and keeping precipitation out. Tomorrow's daytime high will reach 22 degrees, with gusts up to 32 kilometers per hour from the southwest that will feel brisk. The UV index is 6, and no weather alerts are active. Tuesday opens with a clear sky and a high of 25 degrees, low staying at 16. Wednesday climbs to a warm 28 degrees maximum, still clear, while humidity remains modest. Thursday brings the first cloud cover of the stretch, overcast with a 45% chance of rain and a high of 28 degrees. The lingering moisture will keep temperatures from falling below 20. Friday stays overcast, rain probability 20%, high 27 degrees and a night low of 22, feeling mild. Saturday remains unsettled, overcast with a 50% rain chance, high 25 degrees and low 22, ending the week with another cool, damp spell. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates. What's on today and a look at our HABs in season. Then we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
The Canadiens are busy this summer, and the moves are adding up. Montreal has signed defenseman Maximilian Schubert to a one-year, two-way deal for the 2026-2027 season. Schubert came over from the Utah Mammoth in the trade that sent Joshua Roy the other way. A two-way structure tells you the front office sees this as a depth piece, someone competing for a roster spot with an AHL safety valve built in. The pipeline picture for Montreal is genuinely deep right now. 55 players are eligible for this year's top 25 under 25 rankings, a number that ties a previous record. That's a healthy sign for a franchise still building. Which of those prospects pushes into the NHL rotation this season? That's the conversation worth having. The Canadiens are weighing a forward option while they wait on the future. Rickard Rakell is being floated as a short-term fit until prospect Michael Hage is ready to step into the lineup. It's a classic bridge player situation. Keep the roster competitive now without blocking the kid who's supposed to be part of the next chapter.
Welcome back. At the Festivant de Lévis, Engen de Poitrin's Clec unveiled a black drum with white spots, produced locally by Ebener Percussion as the multi-day festival continues this week. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
On August 3rd, 2026, at the Festivant de Lévis, the Quebec-based group Engen de Poitrin took the stage to unveil a new percussion piece. The festival, which draws thousands of visitors each year, provided a lively backdrop as the band's sound filled the open-air venue. Kleck, the band's frontman, lifted a sleek black drum speckled with white spots, noting that it was crafted locally by Ebener Percussion. The instrument, designed for deep resonant tones, was demonstrated during the set, with Julie Larouch and William Leclerc adding rhythmic layers that highlighted the drum's tonal range. Festival goers watched as the band integrated the freshly minted drum into their energetic performance, marking a rare debut of a Quebec-made instrument at the multi-day cultural celebration. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Lavis.
Quebec is activating hundreds of rain gauge devices to record real-time precipitation ahead of an expected heavy downpour, adding to a network that has measured rain since the mid-19th century. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Across the province, crews have placed hundreds of compact rain gauge units that feed real-time precipitation data back to the meteorological network. Officials say the devices are already logging the first inches of rain, as forecasters warn of a heavy downpour expected later today and into tomorrow. The new deployment builds on a historic gauge network that has been measuring rainfall continuously since the mid-19th century, giving scientists a century and a half of baseline data. By tracking the storm as it moves, the system aims to improve flood warnings and help emergency responders allocate resources. The live feed will be updated throughout the event, offering a detailed picture of how much water is falling at any given moment. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Quebec.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the wrap. Tonight's highlights included the unexpected tornado probe after the Repentigny storm, a reminder of nature's power. Stay safe, keep informed, and we'll be back tomorrow with more of the stories that matter to our city. See you then.